Hi, it's me. I thought I'd come back. I just saw your video, Don, and I wanted to make a couple of comments just to add to what you've said, or just to actually to reinforce what you've said. Again, I am, oh gosh, I was 2 years off of, well, an Ativan Valium crossover, 2 years off completely as of October. So I'm headed onto the 3 year stretch, and for the most part, I feel really good. I have to say that I actually slept 10 hours uh, the night before last and 9 hours last night, and that is 9 hours without waking up at all. Um, it's taken some time to get my sleep back. Actually, it's even when I started to be able to sleep a decent amount of time, which was like maybe 6, 7 hours, I was still not waking up feeling refreshed. And I know that that's very common. A lot of people that I've spoken to will wake up, but they're still waking up with some anxiety, or feeling like they have a hangover. And I had that as well. That like slowly dissipated too. Like I would have, even when I started sleeping again, again, 6 hours, 7 hours, I was still, every other day, every third or fourth day, I would wake up feeling like I actually had a hangover, and feeling really tired, and wondering if indeed there was something else wrong with me, like maybe I should have my heart checked, or whatever. But no, even that has gotten better. And again, 2 nights ago it was 10 hours. Last night it was 9 hours. Of course, like 3 nights ago it was, I had a really bad sleep, and that had to do with a nightmare that I had actually. But so it does get better, even at, I'm not like, I'm going on 2.5 years out. So, it does continually get better. I've said many times, no, I'm not 100% the way I was prior to all this. But in some ways, I'm so much better. So there are a couple of things that are still kind of hanging on, and every now and then I still get some of that internal combustion, as I refer to it as. Every now and then I will get like bouts of that. Does not last, does not upset me too much, because I know that it's not, that it's going to pass, certainly has gotten so much better. I still have a little bit of that cog fog. It's funny, I shouldn't say cog fog, because I never really referred to it as cog fog. It was more, for me, it was more like I felt a cement block, in my brain kind of forming. At first it was just, there was a cement block in my brain. And then as I got better, little by little, it seemed like it would only be toward the end of the day. And even now, when I'm really tired and I've had like way too much stimulation, like too much social interaction, or just way too much, even when, with my work, if I've had to make too many phone calls, if I've had to talk to too many different people, I do get, hyperstimulated. If I had to live the rest of my life exactly like I am today, it would be perfectly fine. I have gained so much from this. Really and truly, when I do have the peace, and which is really most of the time, I should say, it's just wonderful, and I can just appreciate it, because, still those thoughts of that akathisia that I went through for months on end, I can't think of anything worse than that. I really, really can't. I mean, I had a lot of symptoms. That was the worst, and I really and truly can't think of anything worse than that. But the good news is that it did all go away. It did. And there's just a real keen appreciation for that calm, more so than I could have ever imagined. And there is a calm, and there is, as you know, Don and I have talked about, there is definitely an increase of faith that is so incredible. Now, whenever something is going on in my life that, you know, is difficult, and yeah, you know, because you've been through withdrawal doesn't mean that, you know, when you're through it, doesn't mean you'll never have any other difficulties in your life. I mean, well, certainly that's unrealistic, but every difficulty I have now, I can go back to, well, at least I'm not in benzo withdrawal. And I don't even mean that to sound like a joke. I mean, it's the absolute truth. Whatever I encounter now, I compare to benzo withdrawal. And it's like, well, I got through benzo withdrawal, so I'm going to get through this. Kind of like very similar to what Don said about the, you know, about the shingles. As far as relationships, I know I've mentioned this in my other videos, but I did want to follow up here with a few things that Don said. It is amazing. The people who, like, you think are your friends that all of a sudden, like, kind of avoid you. If you've had that happen, believe me, that is pretty typical in benzo withdrawal. Friends that, there were a couple of people that, it's not that they were ever cruel to me, but they started to look at me like, oh, poor thing. Oh, she must be having a breakdown. There was always like this kind of like, not patronizing, I don't even know the word that I'm looking for. But I have to keep going back to that and just say, okay, they just don't understand. Almost like it's, oh my gosh, it's like, it's going back to even like Jesus on the cross when he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I actually, that has come to me so often when I really wanted to choke these people. And I used to get, oh my gosh, I used to get so angry. And even now I do. I mean, when I think about it. But then I have to think, you know, if I had never been through withdrawal, what would I have done? How would I have looked at people? I know, well, I sure hope that I would never have been mean or cruel, but I don't know. Maybe I would have backed away a bit. I really don't know. But I will tell you this. My mother, who has always been my best friend, she stood right by me. She really did, because she knew me. My mother knew me, and my best friend, same thing. She was just the most incredible person throughout this, and I'll tell you what she did. She actually lives quite a way away. She lives in Florida. I live near Boston, so I never see her. But she used to call me like every 2 or 3 days, and certainly Lisa did not know about benzo withdrawal, although she read everything that I sent her. She used to call me every 2 or 3 days. I would not answer the phone. I could not talk to anybody, but all she would say is, I love you. You're going to get through this. I believe in you. You're going to get through it. I know you will. You don't have to call me back. Just know that I love you. She would call me every 3 or 4 days with that message. Unbelievable when I think about it. Just, that's all she really needed to do. I don't think we're not looking for anyone to take this away. We're not looking for that. It's just someone that believes us. So I think that's why definitely these bonds form. And like, I'm really looking forward to meeting Don. I have only met, actually, I have been fortunate enough to meet face-to-face, to meet 2 people. One is Sonia, who has done a video on the site, and it was wonderful to meet her. She lives in the Boston area as well. And the other one was Karen, who made a video for this site. And my whole story, I was in a video. I told my whole story about that. Um, yeah, it's there's a bond there, and I've often said it was probably very much like Holocaust survivors or anyone that, any kind of a support group, people that have lost children, people that, whatever it may be, certainly you can never understand until you've been through it. And I think it just this goes for withdrawal as well. So um, just know that what I have found is the relationships that were very important to me um, have all been kind of been pieced back together. Um, there was some forgiveness on my part. I needed to forgive people. I really did. I needed to forgive them because I needed to understand that they didn't really understand what I was going through and couldn't possibly. Um, but let me just say this, the relationships that um, were relationships that were treasures, I should say, are relationships that I still have and that I'm noticing are being healed and mended. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, as painful as it is. When you come through this, when they see you getting better, they're going to believe you. They're going to know. And you're not going to have to be telling the story over and over. I mean, I could not talk about anything but withdrawal for at least a year and a half. There was no conversation that I could get through, even though I would try. It's all I talked about. And I've made this analogy quite often. It's almost like you have somebody that's trying to crawl out of a huge pit of sewerage. And, you know, it's when you're trying to do that, it's very, very hard to think or talk about anything else. So just give yourself a break, please, anybody that is going through this, and I'm sure all of you that are watching this can relate. Give yourself a break. You're going to get there. I promise you, you are. I'm just another face here, trying to help out, just to reassure you. I understand. Dawn understands. We understand. We're there with you. We're cheering you on, and you will be on the other side of this. I assure you, you will. Okay, take care and keep going. Thank you.